Hi everyone, it's Amy from So Let's Be Quilty and So Let's Make a Bag, and I'm just doing a few tips and tricks on putting your patterns together and cutting out and showing you a few tips and tricks. So the first one is you're going to get these single-sided pages that you are going to have to tape all together to make your sling bag small and large. The first thing I do is I actually start by laying them out, and then I leave the extra piece on one of the sides that I'm taping together. And then I only tape where the pattern pieces are. So I don't tape, everywhere, just where your pattern pieces are going to go together. So when you cut them apart, they don't come apart on you. So for this one, I'm going to leave that flange on there, and I'm going to cut off that paper, and then I'll put them together, and I'll show you that in just a minute. All right, here we've got our number 3, so they all have numbers on them. And then I left the little piece of paper on the number 2, and the number 3, I cut off the excess. And then I'm just going to match up my little arrows and make sure your letters match up pretty nicely. And then I'm just going to tape on this one. I'm just going to put a little piece of tape here, a little piece of tape here, and a little piece of tape between these two. And that's all I'm going to tape on this one. So I'm not going to tape right here because it's going to be cut away. So I put together the whole piece before I start cutting things out. So I'm going to continue on like this, and then I will show you how I fussy cut with these pattern pieces. Thanks. Hi everyone, it's Amy from So Let's Make a Bag and So Let's Be Quilty Studio. So we're going to talk about fussy cutting a little bit. And if you're one of my sling bag members who got the number 8 or number 9 bag, you got this Bon Voyage or travel one from Alexander Henry's The Ghastly. So it has a lot of stuff going on it. And we're going to fussy cut, so we are going to kind of strategically place our pattern pieces where we want to see whatever we want to see. So before we do that, we're going to talk about some marking tools that I like to use. These are all either iron off, or with little spritz, they come off, or you can use the air erasable, which will just go away in about an hour. So this one is time sensitive, so only use this one if you're working on your project right away, and then you're going to cut right away. Because if you use this one and walk away and go have dinner, it could be gone by the time you get back, and then you'd have to start all over again, which is not ideal. So these 3 are Frixons, and they're different, widths. So this one is green, and then this one is black, and then this one is more marker-like. So if you look at it, it has a hair on it. It is more like a marker, so it'll make a thicker, wider line. And then you have 2 chalk options, which we have this one will show up on darker colors quite nicely. And then this one is kind of like a rotary. It has like a little wheel in it. And on dark colors, it just gives you a nice broken line. And this one really, once you kind of rub on it, it goes away. So a little water on that one, and that will go away as well. So these are my favorite marking tools. So depending on what you're doing and how much time you have, those are the tools that I use. And I always have them in a little pencil case that I have always with me. So fussy cutting. Why I'm showing you the marking tools is when I put this pattern piece over it, I can kind of see where it is, but not really. And if I'm just before I cut, I kind of want to strategically place these where I want to see the bits of, you know, from different things. So what I would do is I would kind of, if I wanted this lady in the hot air balloon to be on my front pocket, I would kind of place this so that I get most of her on there. But I'm seeing with this one, I'm going to cut off her legs or cut off this. So I might make a different choice. So to see how things are really going to go, I would kind of place this down, and I would use one of my marking tools, and I would mark edges and corners, because this will all disappear. So if I'm just trying to see where things are going to end up, I can kind of see how much of the plane I will see, you know, where these little flowers are going to end up, if I'm going to see part of the little town below. So, and then if I don't like it, I just take this piece over to my iron and I iron it off. So those are it's a really good idea, especially for this one, because it has a lot of different motifs in it that you may want to strategically place all of them down. And that's exactly what I did. I put all of them down. I traced around every single one. And that way, both of my large and small fit on one piece of fabric. So did I have to make compromises? Yeah, a little bit. But I got the main things that I really wanted to see on my piece to be able to see it. So I'm going to flip this over and show you the other side. And this is why this one is so unique, because the motif runs the full length, so you get different things. So maybe I said, well, I couldn't fit the little lady in the hot air balloon, but maybe I want this, the bellhop with the kitty, you know, to be on the front. So I could put that down and put a couple of marks on here. I will try and make it dark enough so you can see it. And as I mark on here, I know that I might take a little bit more time in doing this, but then I'll get exactly what I want where I want it. So if I take that away, you can see I'm going to get the whole bellhop on that front. And that's kind of cool too. So play around and figure out what you want, and use your whole piece, like really mark the whole thing up. And then when you make your final decision, I would mark again and make sure you're a little bit more precise and cut everything out. And then you'll be very happy with where things kind of end up. So I hope that helps. The other one is when you're doing this particular one, I think this little guy in the, you know, we have the locomotive and the little guy hanging out. I think that would fit perfectly on the front of the little tech bag. So, I mean, really kind of, you have a different set of fabric for that, but kind of think about where things will end up. And if you don't care, then I would just put things down, cut it out, and see where everything goes. But I think this is a perfect opportunity to take a little bit of time and fussy cut your bag. So I hope you have fun. Thanks. Hey bag makers, it's Amy from So Let's Make a Bag and So Let's Be Quilty Studio. So we're talking about turning your strap tubes. So we put these big long tubes together that end up, you know, using for straps. And, you know, sometimes it can be difficult. So I'm going to show you a few easy ways to do it for longer straps or shorter straps. And it usually takes a bit of time, so we're going to try and make that time go down a little bit. So the first thing we're going to talk about is this easy point turner. So it kind of is an odd looking thing, but it really does help you turn the longer tubes. So I would use this for only anything over like 2 feet. So it has a pointy end right here. and then it has a little hole into that one, and the point goes right in there like that, and it kind of seals it up. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your tube and you're going to put it onto one side, and you're just going to kind of put that whole thing on, and then you're going to leave a little bit at the end, and you're going to fold it down, and you're going to maneuver this so it goes into that little hole in there and hole grips onto it. And that's what this little grip is for. So, and then you're just going to slide the other side down to the other side of this turner. And the beginning is a little harder. And it's really hard when you're trying to do it with the video. So we're just going to get it started. Once you get it started, it goes pretty nicely. Again, you know, turning these big long tubes is one of those tasks that everybody is like, oh, it's not my favorite. So anyway, so get this going. So I've got it going, so it's sliding down the other side. So we're just transferring this from one side to the next. And then we should see the end here. See, I see the end. And I'm gonna open this up and pull it off. And you have this like little gathered little caterpillar right here. And all you have to do is pull. And you have this tube that's about 3 feet long done. And you haven't hurt your mitts, and you can turn it really easily. So this, when I do something longer, I like to use this because I think it turns stuff very nicely, and it, you know, it doesn't hurt your hands to do it. Okay, so once you have a tube, if you're doing a by Annie's or one that requires that you put a piece of like strapping or webbing inside to give structure to your handles, I have this tool from Dritz, and it has like a little pointed end, and it has kind of a gripper in the center, if you can see it. Let's see if it focuses on it. And then the end, side view, this flips up, and this opens, and you can put your piece of webbing in there. Let me grab the webbing. All right, so I have my piece of webbing. I have my little tool, and this has little teeth in it. So you just put that in there, and you snap that down, and now it's got a hold of it. And now you have a longer piece to keep hold of when you're putting it through the tube. So if we're putting this through the tube, kind of putting that in, and I kind of wiggle so I get that going. And then if you can see, so this is the end of it right here. So you can see you have a really good hold of it, and then it just like slides right through. So love this one. It's longer than a bobkin, so it actually is easier to hold on to. So this is from Dritz. So I love that one. Now, if you don't have one of these and you can't find one, I think every bag maker should have at least a small hemostat. So this guy, it actually came from the medical, and then it has the little teeth right here. And once you get it on there, it doesn't open. So if you have a hold of the end of your, and you have a hold of it, then it grips it, right? So if you're doing a small piece and you just thread this on the end like that and go and grab something, then you can pull it through. So and that also, if you get almost all the way to the end and maybe you lose your bobkin or whatever and you can't go in and get it, these you can go to the end and grab it and then pull it through. So those are 3 things that I use for making straps, turning tubes, that kind of thing. So I hope that helps. All right, this is Amy from So Let's Be Quilty and So Let's Make a Bag. So we're talking about parachute clips. So there's this clip that's in you have 2 of them, one for each of your park slings, and it comes in 2 pieces. So you probably all got a black one. So it comes apart, and then the one that's in your bag has a slight curve to it. So if you can see, it kind of has a little curve. So this is the right side. So you want to thread your webbing through the bottom and then in through the top, just like that. And then you're going to take this one, and this is the one that you're going to double. And then you're going to put a little stitch, a little box in that one, and that will help it. If it ever gets to the end, it's not going to come all the way out like that. So here's a look at mine. And I just put a little box at the end. I don't know if you can even see it. If you need to, if you're short like me, you might want to even shorten it. But as you can see, when you pull on it this way, it's not really going to go anywhere. So once it's on your back, it's going to be nice and secure. So that's the parachute clip. All right, so I'd kind of like to talk about something that's in everybody's box. Everybody got a package of this Dritz 1/4-inch Wonder Tape. It's wash away. And what I've seen people using it for is for, just those seams that are really hard to put a pin in or get a hold of. It's like a double stick tape for fabric. So it comes in this little roll, and it's like 1/4 inch wide. And it is sticky on one side, and then it has a paper on the other side. And what you're going to do is you're just going to cut off however much you think you need, and then stick it to your zipper, and then you're going to peel off the paper, and then you're going to place your fabric on the other side, and see it sticks to it so that you don't it makes it more accurate, and then you don't have to put a bunch of pins in there that might distort it and make it buckle or not look nice. So now I can put a nice line of stitching right there, and your zipper is nice and secure. The other thing that I would have everybody at least look into is this Roxanne's glue, Baste little glue, and it again washes away. But the nice thing about this glue is it has 2 sides. Well, it has a couple of nice things, but it has 2 applicators. So it has a smaller applicator and then a wider applicator. So if you're doing something you need a little bit more glue, and you can iron this. So you can put a little dab of glue on there and iron it, and then it's nice and in place, and then you don't have to put clips or pins or anything, and it makes your life much easier. So 2 things to make your zipper application, your zipper installation easier. So the Dritz Wash Away 1/4 inch Wonder Tape, or you might want to try the Roxanne's Glue Baste. So 2 things. So have a good time making this bag, and we'll see you next quarter.